Hey there, welcome to my home. Come on in. I'm Charlene and I'm an interior designer. I'm a beginner gardener and this is my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my experience as a beginner gardener. I started my first garden last spring. I just want to talk about a few things that I learned, a few things that I will be repeating, and things I'm going to change. So stick around. I took some notes here. The first thing I want to talk about is why I started my garden. I think it's important to figure out your why. Mine was, I was just sick and tired of going to the grocery store almost 3-4 times a week for herbs and vegetables and feeling like I was getting ripped off, and looking at my backyard and seeing all the space that I had and thinking to myself, if only I could figure out how to grow these things in my backyard, I wouldn't have to drive to the store and pay an arm and a leg for 3 sprigs of basil or dill. And then the other why was that I really just wanted my family to be self-sufficient and not rely on what was available at the stores. I love to cook. That, to me, the feeling of being limited was a big motivator to start my garden. I love new dishes and experimenting. I love finding new recipes. So I wanted to have those items available on hand. The thing with living in Georgia is a lot of things are seasonal and just they don't even carry them. I just wanted to be able to have the flexibility to cook the things that I want to eat. That it's simple as that. I did my research. I was inspired by the Gardenery from Nicole Burke. And so I picked up a lot of tips. I even purchased one of her garden bed tutorials, but I'm just not that handy. I was fortunate to find a company led by 2 women called 2 Women and a Wagon, and they built the beds and they gave me some valuable tips on what soil to use, what method to use. We used the lasagna method. It really helped with beds, just having that foundation for everything to grow. The next thing we did was planting. So I started the seeds in the end of January and I didn't know what I was doing. I really just kind of dove head first and decided what works will work and what doesn't work won't work, and I'll learn from my mistakes. So I started small, but I tried a lot of different things. I looked at my zone, which is zone 8A, and I figured out which seeds would start at that right time indoors and then which seeds would be perfect for sowing outdoors. So I think that's the thing that really kind of set me up for success, was just doing my research on which crops are good for planting indoors and outdoors, and then labeling everything, keeping track of it. And it was so exciting to see that first little sprout come out. I felt like a proud plant mom, and that was just the beginning of the journey. And once spring came around, I transferred those little seedlings to the beds outdoors, which was super exciting. I'll tell you what was successful and what I will change for this garden. Cucumbers were amazing. They sprouted and they were so fruitful. I had the largest cucumbers I've ever seen, and they were delicious, and I'm gonna plant those again. I had no issues with the cucumbers. I think what I will change is adding a taller trellis because they grew so fast and so big. Grew radish, those were really easy to grow. I had success with some little gem lettuce. Kale was great, although I didn't plant enough, so I will plant more this season. It's still going strong in the back too. I didn't really harvest it because I was waiting for more to come out, but now I know. I planted some carrots. I think I only had like 3 that I was able to harvest, and they were little. So I'll have to look into what I need to do differently for those. Oh, my tomatoes. So the things that didn't work out were the tomatoes. They they grew, but there was no fruits. I'm not sure exactly what I did, but I know that it wasn't on a trellis. This season I will add a taller trellis. The arch that I have in the back, I'm going to move it to the front because it really wasn't serving any functional purpose back there. It was just aesthetically cute, but I'm going to move it forward and put it in the beds and have the cucumbers and the tomatoes and maybe some squash vine up there. So that wasn't really successful. I'd say the carrots fall into that category too. They didn't get as big as they should have. And I was hoping for some chives that never sprouted and some Swiss chard that I never saw and beets. I planted them, but they never grew. So I have a lot to learn. You know, if you're a beginner gardener, I say just test it out. I learn by doing and I learn from others. So that's why I wanted to create this channel to give you a visual of what it's like to start a garden and the mistakes along the way. And I'm sure I'll learn from you as well.
Here's my little late winter garden. We still have parsley growing right now, which is thriving, although I should probably harvest this and make pesto. And my little kale that I was mentioning, I really just had this one. I should pick this and eat it. And I will explain what I was talking about in the earlier video. I wanted to move this trellis that I had in the back that was really just kind of serving no function and move it up to the center here. I'm wearing my husband's Crocs. Don't judge me. Yeah, you know, this is cute here, but it really is not functional. It's too tight for my chairs. I can't sit here comfortably. So I'm going to move it here and have my table there with more space and have my cucumbers vine up here with my tomatoes. And I'm really excited to show you what we have cooking.
It's a journey and you're going to grow as your garden grows, and you're going to be so happy to just walk in your backyard and see your vegetables. It's not only beautiful and peaceful and healing, but it's delicious. Happy gardening, and I look forward to updating you on the next video where I will start my seedlings this season and clean out my garden beds and move some things around.
I've only been growing this vegetable garden for 1 year, and I am just sharing my tips that I've learned in this year. I held off on sharing any tips and tricks until I learned from my mistakes. And if you like this video, if you enjoyed watching this and picked up some tips, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see in the next video. And if you have a vegetable garden that you're working on, or you'd like to start a vegetable garden, let me know in the comments below what you're planning on planting for your zone. I'd love to stay connected, and I have a free tutorial for you on my blog. I'll link it in the description below. And I really hope you stick around. It was nice hanging with you, but I have to run to a dentist appointment, so I'll see you soon. Bye.